What Zuckerberg talks about is actually moving away from these large, very broad social networks and now to niche kind of micro communities. There's a lot of opportunity when it comes to social and when it comes to the gaming community. How can I have a social network that says, whatever game you're playing, I want to connect and see what my friends are doing, or exchange, interact with them, or create new friends, and then have those relationships carry on into other games. This opportunity is very much so alive. Let's talk about social gaming. So in the world of video games, a place very near and dear to my heart, I grew up playing EverQuest and then Final Fantasy XI, their MMORPG, if anyone is familiar. That means massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Yes, thank you very much. My character was amazing. And there are a lot of social networks that spring up around these games. If you kind of think about all these online games, which now all of the biggest games have an online component to them, they're inherently online and social. You're either having these micro communities like clans or guilds, which, what Zuckerberg talks about is actually moving away from these large, very broad social networks and now to niche kind of micro communities, as evidenced by like groups on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. And so Zuckerberg has spoken about this a lot, right? The kind of less willingness to just share with everyone and more willingness to share with hyper-localized friend groups that are focused around, guess what, topics of interest. So that you've seen Facebook promoting Facebook groups, for example, very, very heavily, taking out a bunch of ads on that. This is the same kind of trend, but in the video game world. Activision and Blizzard have done, I'd say, a pretty good job of this, helping to connect people that play other Activision Blizzard games, particularly Blizzard games. So if you play World of Warcraft or you play StarCraft, you can now meet and see what your friends are playing, what other games they're playing, go play games together, all these kinds of things. You have seen Apple and Google try to create what I would call social networks that span across a variety of video games, right? That aren't manufacturer, that aren't video game creator specific, like Activision and Blizzard, right? So how can I have a social network that says, whatever game you're playing, I want to connect and see what my friends are doing, or exchange, interact with them, or create new friends, and then have those relationships carry on into other games. That really hasn't been done. No one has captured that opportunity. You've seen Apple try to create this thing called Game Center, which was basically nuked in the past year or so with the new operating system update, which was trying to do this, and it was embedded into all the games. That's pretty much gone. That's pretty much DOA. You've seen the Google Play. It's literally called like Google Play Games. Horrible name. That it's kind of trying to do this on Android games. So you've kind of seen the massive development platforms, the massive smartphone operating system platform companies try to do this. They really haven't done a very good job at it. Google's tried and failed at social networks many times. I think Apple just has a lot of concern about privacy to really go and embrace social very well. But that doesn't mean that it's dead. I think this opportunity is very much so alive. And I'm actually kind of surprised that video game creators, the large ones, and there's at least, I'd say, 10 or 15 multi-billion-dollar video game creators that could actively seize on this opportunity. They have the size, they have the scale, they have the users, that they could either launch it on their own or they could do a JV with one or two other large video game creators and help get enough critical mass to do this. I think Epic is actively looking at this. We've seen what they're doing with the Epic social network on Fortnite, trying to really have you create an Epic account. We've seen who owns Epic. Oh, this company called, that's right, Tencent. Just a small, large tech monopoly that you may not have heard of. Tencent and Epic, they understand platforms very well. They launched this thing called the Epic's PC game store to go head to head with Steam. Steam has had pretty much a stranglehold on PC game delivery. They have had the dominant marketplace to buy and distribute video games, and then now you can, purchase digital items on there and all these things on the PC for many, many years. How did Epic get a wedge into that market? It's actually a great little case study. And one of the key things that they did is they locked up key supply, highly sought after supply. They went to some of the key video game creators, gave them exclusive royalties to say, when it comes to the PC, on Xbox or PlayStation, you can distribute it as you normally would. But when it comes to the PC, you're only going to distribute this video game through my Epic PC Game Store. And they, you pay them an upfront fee. You make it worth their while because they might have some less sales if it's only going through the Epic Store versus Epic and the Steam Valve Store. Okay. But you lock up key supply, and then now you know that there's already an audience base that wants this game, and now they have to come and get it from only me, the Epic PC Game Store. So, really good lesson in just platform competition. We've seen this in the video game industry in many other places, like what Microsoft's Mixer did to Twitch, taking Ninja and other really highly sought after, highly recognizable video game players that have huge streaming audiences, lock up that and bring that to bring that content basically to Microsoft's streaming platform. We've seen this model used in a number of other industries as well. We've also seen it with Xbox and PlayStation locking up key video game titles also for their consoles, or just buying Bungie outright for Halo, right? So you've seen this strategy many times before. It's a tried and true strategy. It certainly costs a lot more money, but you're going to get demand for the supply that you're locking up, right? And that can help jumpstart your demand side of the equation. So Epic has done this. Epic understands platforms. Tencent understands platforms. They have the balance sheet to make these kinds of investments. We are seeing a number of tech startups try to create social networks around video game communities. We're seeing them use video. This company here, Metal TV, raised $9 million. They could have raised way more. They turned it down. There are a lot of these businesses out there that are trying to bring people together. You look at Discord, right? Helping really capturing that gaming community. I think Discord could be doing a lot of other things to build upon the community that they have today. But there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to social and when it comes to the gaming community, forging new relationships, strengthening existing relationships. How are video game creators really helping to own a piece of that inevitable future? We will see. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.